Hello everybody, my name is Benjamin Bloom. Welcome along to the Championship review. It's Sunday night, game week 36 is done, only 10 games to go. It's been a busy week, God, hasn't it? It's been a 3-game week. I think I got to 5 games this week in all competitions. There you go. We have 2 heroic teams who hit the perfect 9 points. So a big up to Leeds and big up to Wigan. More of Wigan in a minute. A perfect 3-game week. And I can see 2 0-point weeks in here. Hull City, 3 defeats. Middlesbrough, 3 defeats. And into the bottom 3. Really interesting game week. Some people said Wednesday night was boring, but it certainly moved itself along. Has that splurge from the bottom 3. Elliot says he's scared of my top. Please don't be. It's just a picture. Jason says Leeds will win the title now. Ollie says Middlesbrough going down. A few things working themselves out now. Has the splurge from the bottom 3 stopped? Look at Wigan, 19th. By God, what a run by them. Let's work our way down from the top, and that means we get to immediately talk about Wigan. Steve says Ben is now Leeds' lucky mascot. There you go. Who says football fans are fickle? Hey, it was West Brom 0, Wigan 1. Oh my goodness me, outstanding. Tom Lawrence on fire, says Lewis. Jaggy says Rooney on my shirt. Lovely stuff. I'll repeat that. West Brom 0, Wigan 1. Wigan just have had the best week and the best run. Absolutely outstanding. Just before we get to this, let me take you through Wigan's week. 1-0 they won at home to Millwall. They went to Reading and won 3-0. So didn't just sneak in there. Absolutely battered Reading 3-0. And then to go to West Brom. I know West Brom have lost at home to Borough before over Christmas time, wasn't it? But that's a hell of a performance by Wigan to go there. I said in my preview, yeah, look, great fun. I'm sure the good run will continue after they've played West Brom, but they won't win this one. But by hell they did. Sam Morsey with the goal on 73. In terms of West Brom, I think they've got themselves into such a good position that not a lot really changed. Andrew says Fulham got lucky too. Preston were looking good. So West Brom, well, they're 1 point above Leeds now. They still have a 6-point gap down to Fulham. We've been saying and doing this business of how many wins to get over the line now. And I'd said that I felt that West Brom needed another 5 and Leeds needed another 6. So I make that, let's say 5 wins from the remaining games would put West Brom to 84, would put Leeds to 83. I think that will be enough. So these teams need to remain relaxed. They can afford to absorb the odd defeat. Obviously, not the run that Leeds had last year. The whole Wigan defeat and then losing to Brentford and then drawing Villa. So I think West Brom are going to be okay. I mean, if we just quickly get up their fixtures and see what they have going up. And the one thing that doesn't work in their favour in terms of actually the title is that they're still in the FA Cup. So they've got another 3-game week this week. They're at home to Newcastle in the Cup, although I'm sure that'll be half a first team and a few reserves getting in. What I will say though is they're off to Swansea. Then they've got a local derby against Birmingham, and then they go down to Brentford. I'll be at that one. So maybe we could see a switch up at the top of the table. But I think generally West Brom should be okay. But they're gonna. If I were Bilic, I would stick the reserves out. God damn it, against Newcastle just before it gets tetchy and Fulham gets any closer. But Wigan just put a poll out for Championship Performance of the Week, and Wigan won that one. Just absolutely incredible. Not only to see them out of the bottom 3, but 19th. So 6, top of the bottom 6, essentially. Absolutely superb stuff. Yeah, I can't say anything more for Wigan than long may it continue. But we've seen this happen before. Borough 37 points do have that game in hand, don't they? Against Forest on Monday night, and we've seen these teams go on a run and get sucked straight back down into it. So they need to keep it up. Animation says Wigan have dominated possession in most of their games. Ollie says, Ben, what's your name on Instagram? It's just Benjamin Bloom. Just type Benjamin Bloom in there. Yeah, so animation pointing out this is no fluke from Wigan. And remember, through the season, there's been a sense with Wigan, remember they've like dropped something like 25, 30 points from leading positions and conceded so many late goals as well. Maybe they're just starting to click and getting it right with 10 games to go. They need to power on through. What I will say is it's looking like a high total to stay up this season, assuming one of the bottom three keeps winning and pushes that total higher. Cool. So let's move on from West Brom and Wigan, and we need to go to second place, Leeds, our other heroic 9-point week. James says Jack Harrison, what a player he's becoming. Some of us have been on that bandwagon for a fair while. Ollie says Jamal Lowe's goal against Reading. Yes, that was absolutely superb. Danny says Forest are talking about next two being certain. Yeah, so Forest play now twice before Leeds and West Brom play, don't they? They go to Borough tomorrow night. Leeds fans will know about Borough because they played them in midweek, and then they're at home to Millwall. So yeah, Forest could easily pick up 4 points, and yeah, they'd only close the gap, though, wouldn't they? I mean, even if Forest do, that's only 63, still be 5 points behind. So you know, and everyone says Super LUFC says the curse is over. There you go. Some people never believed in the curse, but I was there. It was Hull 0, Leeds 4, and because it was 4-0, we can say that the first goal was absolutely jammy. Ayling deflected one. Hull got into it towards the end of the second half, and Leeds scored right at the start of the second half. Hernandez makes it 2-0, which kills it off, and then I have to say Leeds were really, really good for the rest of the second half. The first time I saw a Bielsa team, it was getting back towards that exhilarating stuff. Absolutely superb performance. Interesting cameo from Tyler Roberts, because we've had the Pat Bamford story all season, not taking the chances. On comes Roberts, I guess, I think about 65 minutes, and sticks 2 goals in. So penny for Bamford's thoughts, but we all know Bielsa, don't we? And in Leeds' next game, you can rest assured that Bamford will be starting. A couple of mentions for Harrison, who was brilliant. Hernandez really influenced the game as well. Leeds, Huddersfield at home next week, and then they're off to Cardiff. So you'd think this winning streak could continue. 4 straight wins and clean sheets on the trot for Leeds. We always talk about this time of the season where the run is at its most important, because no one can fight back now, and they're giving the chasing team such a hard task, West Brom and Leeds now. If you look, well, they're absolutely the same over the last 6 in the form, aren't they? 4 wins, a draw and a defeat. So 13 points in the last 6 for both West Brom and Leeds. That's very hard to keep up with, isn't it? You need to win 5 out of every 6 games. So what's best stadium I've been to in the Championship? Asks Ken. Oh God, this season I don't. Pass. We'll do that one at the end. Robert's brace means Bamford has to perform. That's true, says Danny. I don't know whether Augustin will be back by the weekend, but we've said it before. We've said it many, many times. Leeds looking very, very, very good at the moment. And yeah, if you think this with West Brom and Leeds, if they were to win 2 out of the next 3, and you go in 7 games to go, and it's 75 and 74 points, it's looking fairly sort of certain now, isn't it? So great stuff for Leeds, great performance, and I have to say Leeds' third goal was just beautiful. One of the best I've seen all season. Started with a little Dallas dink over, playing out from the left back area, no hoofing, beautiful counter attack, and Roberts finished it off. Absolutely brilliant. But I suppose we better talk about Hull, who have now not won in 10 games, and I very self-assuredly said teams like Hull and Reading a few weeks ago, oh, they'll be fine, 40, 41 points, That's no problem. I only need to get 46, 47. Well, if this charge from the bottom sides continues, it's not going to be 46, 47. It's going to be closer to 50, isn't it? So maybe Hull are in trouble. Maybe they do still need to score 6 or 7 points, and they've only got 2 or 3 in the last 10. So if they go on a run for the next 10 games, like they've done for the last 10 games, then Hull could be relegated. They are in trouble. Obviously, that all depends on these bottom teams. Although the bottom teams could slow down a tad and still catch Hull. It's just been a mad, I cannot believe I'm looking at Wigan with 3 wins in the last 6, Charlton with 2, Stoke with 2 and 2 draws, Barnsley 3 wins and Luton 3 wins. That's unprecedented for a bottom 6. That shouldn't be happening. But this is the Championship, isn't it? So, big up Leeds for a great performance and a great week. Sharif says, what do I think of Grant McCann? I feel a bit sorry for him, Sharif, to be honest, because he's got the job. He had Bowen and Grzycki. He's doing absolutely fine. He's in the top half of the table. They look like they're not going to get relegated. Alarms, obviously, get rid of Bowen and Grzycki, take the money, and that leaves him in a bit of a quandary. Whether he'll get any of it to spend, I do not know. It might even be too late. But I would feel very badly if McCann doesn't get any of that money, because that's going to be a hard old job to keep them up next season with no investment if the Alarms pocket it and try and cut some of their losses there. Right, moving on, and we need to talk about Fulham, who did keep up the pressure. They have, to be fair to them, had a 7-point week. So they have outscored West Brom, but not Leeds and Wigan, obviously, with the 9 points. It was Fulham 2, Preston 0. Trevor says Fulham looking much better since the loss to Barnsley a few weeks ago. Trevor's right, they have responded fairly well to that. Dave Nugent with an own goal on the near post, and Abubakar Kamara, nicely sort of played counter-attack right at the end of the game in the 95th minute. So, decent win for Fulham, who have only lost 9 games this season. Only Leeds, West Brom and Forest. It's a bit of a stating the obvious statistic, isn't it, that? But that number just seemed lower than I expected it would be. It seemed to have lost a few at home as well. So Fulham do it without Mitrovic scoring. Preston, we've said, are they flat track bullies? Well, it does appear that way, doesn't it? When they come up against hard teams, they lose to Fulham and they lose to West Brom. 2 difficult games. But I just would not be surprised if Preston got it together for their last few games and still managed to get 6th. I mean, anyone in the feed tell me a more consistent side than Preston. Not saying Preston are consistent. Who's going to finish above them in the playoff position? So Fulham, the caveat for Fulham the whole time is if they do go on a run. Andrew, sorry, that looked like a good comment. Put that one up again for me, please, mate. If Fulham do go on a run, they are going to damage teams around them. But look, they're going to go away to Bristol City. I will be at their game against Brentford, and then the big one against Leeds is coming up as well. So look, if Fulham have a good run, they're in with a big chance because they're going to damage teams around them. But it's just difficult to see it happening, and they have been quite flaky for the rest of the season. But 7 points off the week is decent. Another couple of those, 14 points from the next 6, and 77 with 4 games to go. Not looking terrible, is it? But it just looks like the gap's too far, doesn't it? It's going to be something monumental now. Either a massive collapse by one of the top 2, or a massive run by Fulham, Forest, or Brentford, really. Brentford can still affect it because they've still got West Brom to play and still got Fulham to play. Right, Andrew, I'm going to read your comment now because it's up. Fulham finally showing balance, finally absorbed pressure well without conceding, played good passes, link-up play, fast break, things looking up. Andrew, who would have been at the game as well. So that's some good news, although it's taken a while, hasn't it, Andrew, for that to manifest itself under Mr. Parker. So Fulham looking good. Kian says, if I'm pronouncing the name right, sorry there. We all know what happened last time I said the gap was too big. That's an absolutely fair comment. But who would have believed that? Who would have believed that gap would have gone before Christmas? The players remained as they were, asks Ollie. Who am I having? I would have Forest to beat Brentford, and I would have Fulham. So I'd have Forest and Fulham in the final. That sounds boring because they're third and fourth, but that's what we would be looking at. Fulham in their second playoff final in 3 years. That would be. Carlos says, how do I think Leeds would fare in the playoffs? I just think half of Leeds would just have heart attacks. So I genuinely think I wouldn't even make them favourites if they got into the playoffs, because I just think the anxiety level in there is just going to go through the roof. And I mean, let's be honest, in the last playoff, Leeds were perfect in the first game, 1-0 at Derby, up in 45 minutes, and then Leeds did what Leeds do. Super Elio FC says we don't do playoffs. Look, I'm an Ipswich fan. I know what the playoffs can do to certain clubs, and yeah, I think Leeds need to finish second minimum, don't they? Let's move on to Forest, who go to Borough tomorrow night, and we'll do a bit more on that. We have said Forest don't tend to fare well against teams who are not very good. So we'll see how it goes. You would expect Forest to grind out a clean sheet in that one, at the very least. If Forest are serious about this promotion, they need to knock over these next two games, don't they? And go to Borough and win, and go to face Millwall on Friday night at home and get the win as well. They cannot rely on, okay, going to wait for someone who's better than us and pick them off like they've done brilliantly. That's not going to get them enough points in the other games to go for that promotion. So yeah, Forest, Borough. Borough in a lot of trouble. Even only a win for Borough will get them out of the bottom three, and they're 3 straight defeats so far. Sorry, I said Borough had done an imperfect 3-game week. Of course, they haven't played yet, so I was wrong about that. Bristol City went off to Millwall at the Den. They took the lead through Pereira on 10. A Callas OG from a set play for 1-1. Bristol City very spotty at the moment, although off the back of 3 straight defeats, a draw at the Den is not necessarily a bad thing. They're still sat in 7th, but just with no momentum. This is what I mean. Who has got any momentum there? Nobody. Absolutely nobody. Preston did have 3 games ago. Bristol City don't. Blackburn did and have drawn the last 3. Swansea don't. Millwall did and they've only got 1 win in the last 6. Cardiff don't. Wednesday had dropped like a stone. No one's got any momentum outside of that top 6, have they? We normally get one set of fans going, oh, go on, we can get in there. Maybe Blackburn most, but yeah, there you go. Millwall, it's all a bit rowett, isn't it? A bit safe, and they've had 2 home games and drawn 0-0 and drawn 1-1. So you'd have wanted 1 3-pointer in that. Just to look, they would have been 7th if they'd have just won. No, they would have been 8th, but if they had just got one of those. Andrew asked, what games am I at next week? If you want to see a train wreck, I'll be at Ipswich versus Fleetwood on Tuesday night. That's turning very quickly, put it that way, if you're interested in my team. Let's talk about Blackburn, who were the ones with momentum. They had a 2-2 draw, snatching 95th minute equaliser, actually. Sam Gallagher, who has Mowbray got has he got a weak spot for strikers here? Because he spent out on Brereton, he didn't get many. Gallagher, again, he spent this summer, so he scores, which is good news. Brewster gets the equaliser. Ayew, how many has Ayew got this season? Way more than I think, way longer we expected him to stay. Bradley Johnson, lovely finish in the 95th minute. We'll still be doing this channel in 10 years and Bradley Johnson will still be scoring goals for someone, like Burton or something in the Championship. He's been a Championship stalwart, hasn't he? So yeah, Blackburn, just a bit of a shame because, I mean, you look at the 3 games they've drawn, one's away at Brentford, one's at home to Stoke. So, I mean, the away one at Brentford's a good result, and then at home to Swansea. But if there was going to be a playoff push, they needed to win one or other of those. Ollie says AU has 12, same as Bamford. There you go. How many chances has AU got though, Ollie, is all I would say to that. But yeah, the stats don't lie, do they? So yeah, Blackburn slowing up a little bit. Swansea the same, it's 8th versus 9th, isn't it? Can you see either of those winning 3 out of 5 and drawing 1 and pushing on? I suppose someone's got to go on a run at some point. They can't all be loss, draw, draw, win, loss, draw. Someone's got to do something, haven't they? And over the course of the season, we have seen Blackburn go on a mad run once. Bristol City have done it a million times, haven't they? Swansea, at the start of the season, did. And Millwall have been on a very consistent long run, but it's always going to involve draws with Rowett, isn't it? Yeah. Bristol City, God, could be, couldn't it? There we go. Luke says Swansea. Leeds fans debating Bamford. We could be here all night with old Pat Bamford. There we go. Right, who are we on to next? We've done Blackburn, we've done Swansea, we've done Mill. We need to talk about Cardiff, who also drew 2-2. Why did I miss Brentford out? What a fool. Sorry, we should have talked about Brentford, who are in 5th place. But slowing down very, very badly, actually. And slowing down in this game, particularly. Ratchich scored. I wonder who Brentford played in the back four. I'll check in a second. And Buemo, lovely free kick. It was 2-0. Hoylett and then Rolls get the equaliser. Brentford, really drab performance I saw in the flesh at Luton. So they did bring Ratchich into the defence, obviously, in reaction to that performance. Dalsgaard back over at right back, and the full back, whose name I can't remember, no, I've lost it, who played on Wednesday at Luton, out of the team. But so Brentford getting in front and then throwing it away. I mean, I don't like to say throwing it away when I'm not at the game, but 2-0 is 2-0. So they would have wanted to defend that. And yeah, it's a big slide from Brentford now. I think people were thinking sort of a top 2 challenge, but that's not going to happen, is it? They are now 11 points behind Leeds. Actually, in fact, since that draw at Leeds, Brentford have picked up 3 points and Leeds have picked up 12. So there you go. I'd rather have Benjamin Bloom up front than Bamford. I could certainly do Bamford's shithousen. He was proper loves a wind up, doesn't he? There we go. Someone just had a good comment. Can you put that comment about Swansea up again, about their late goals? And Paul Merson said Brentford was the Championship's Liverpool a few weeks back. Well, whoever wins the league are the Championship's Liverpool. Yes, right. Moving on and down to Sheffield Wednesday, who took a bit of a peppering, didn't they? I must just say, Cardiff, 2 points in the last 4. It's just not going to happen for them. And you wonder whether they're going to give Harris any or some of the parachute money. James says 1 home goal in all of 2020. The toxicity, great word, cannot be, that's a System of a Down album, isn't it? Not be understated. It would come back that Wednesday comment. Why has it gone so toxic? Because I remember I did the Bristol City game just on the TV, and I think they went 3rd or 2nd, possibly. Incredible drop off by Sheffield Wednesday, who were taking a hiding, 3-0 down in 30 minutes. Tom Lawrence with 2 goals there. He's perked up again after his early season troubles. Jason Knight, I assume that's his first goal. I'm guessing that he's only a youngster, isn't he? Swansea dropped 7 points in the last 4 games after 90 minutes. That's incredible, that stat. Thank you for recounting that stat from the Swansea fan. 7 points. They would be 4th. My God. Jesus. So yeah, Swansea close, but no cigar ever. Josh Windass, who's actually been... Oh, Knight has 4 goals, said Ewan. There we go. He's doing good. Is that a Frankenstein jumper? Yes, absolutely. So yeah, props to Knight in that instance. Lewis corrects me as well. Alfie says Ben Hull staying up. We did this, didn't we? If the teams below them keep playing as they are, then no. But you just can't see both of those runs continuing in the same way, as Hull's been so terrible and the teams below them picking up so many points. But Wednesday and Derby are what I was calling the FFP Derby here, because both now, let's do our little weekly check, 48 points. So let's deduct 11 from both of them, and you end up with 37, and they would both stay up on goal difference at the moment. That's what we're talking about if it's 11. If it's 12 points, then that would be Derby relegated and Sheffield Wednesday would stay up on goal difference. Lewis says, Tom Lawrence, 4 goals, 2 assists in the month of February. Surely up for Player of the Month. He probably should be, Lewis, but I bet the EFL won't go anywhere near that one, my friend. But yeah, you make a good point. So yeah, Sheffield Wednesday and Derby, and after the Kiko Casilla thing, which I've dealt with in another video, and I'm not going to say anything more about tonight. I was saying FFPL, that will be decided at international break, excuse me. But they'll probably do it at 11 p.m. on a Friday night. Windass has actually been good. I was going to say about Windass, other than Hogan, there hasn't been anyone who's scored more who signed in the January transfer window, has there? So yeah, Sheffield Wednesday and Derby, interesting. Both tied on. Thought it's so fascinating that they've got the same amount of points as well. Ollie says Bielsa manager of the month. Surely it's going to be the Wigan Paul Cook, hasn't it? We'll see. I'm sure Bielsa won't give 2 hoots about the manager of the month anyway. He's Bielsa. QPR we need to go to. It was QPR 2, Birmingham 2. How good is Hogan? My God. Hogan gives them the lead on 24. Pugh and Hugel switch it around, and Hogan with the equaliser. So he must have something like 5 in 4 or 6 in 5 or something of that nature. QPR, yeah, they've tidied up nicely actually. That's a decent run. In their last 5, Rangers have got 9 points, which is pretty decent. So yeah, looking better QPR. Blues, well, can they sign Hogan? I don't know. I know he was on gargantuan wages at Villa, so that might be a sticking point, but they really needed to keep him. They've drawn 4 on the trot. They're on a rather huge unbeaten run though, Blues. They're on 47. I wouldn't think either QPR or Birmingham would be too worried about relegation. If you're on 47, that's pretty much 1 win to get you to 50. Although, hey, the tide is rising, and that would only be 1 win in 10. So I'm sure they'll finish mid 50s. Birmingham and QPR will be absolutely fine. Ollie says Paul Cook was also banned from the touchline in one of his wins, and they still won. There you go. Pattern of play, ladies and gentlemen. When I say ladies and gentlemen, I get the stats on YouTube, and it's 99% gentlemen. But there you go. If you're a lady, you're very welcome to. I'm just recounting what the stats are. Reading, we've already done, haven't we? Let's do Huddersfield, who had a massive win, and like Wigan, have had a massive little boost up the table. Animation asks what's going wrong at Ipswich, and we've already done 27 minutes. We don't want to be here for another hour. Yeah, not good. Ipswich will finish below your Oxford. Animation, put it that way. Huddersfield 4, Charlton 0, by God. Grant with 2, Mounier, Bakuna, hell of a goal by Bakuna at the end from miles and miles out. Great strike. John says, anyone know how the Villa got on? I think he knows damn well how the Villa got on. John, are you signing Scott Hogan? Let us know. Carl Grant on 16 goals. That's decent for a team in 17th spot. That's what you call proven championship goal scorer. Didn't Carl Grant used to play for Charlton? So if you put 2 past them, I could be wrong about that. But there we go. So yeah, Huddersfield have waited and finally have sprung straight up to 17th. It's taken a bad run from Hull and obviously their opponents Charlton as well for them to get out, but yeah, Huddersfield 10 points in the last 6, which you would think would be way better than all of the bottom 6, but no, we've had teams like Wigan getting even more than that. So well done Huddersfield, finally getting there. 42, they're going to just want to get to that 58 points away from it. 2 points per game over the next 4 would have them at 50 points with 6 to go. John says Pep will try, but I hear the player is keen to stay. I think I'd want to stay at Villa with all of that nice salary, but you never know. Stranger deals have been done in the Championship, haven't they? We've done Hull, we've done Wigan, we've done Charlton. That only leaves us Stoke and Luton. And I think did I predict an unhelpful draw in this one? I think possibly I did. I only remember my predictions when they go right, put it that way. Vokes with the opener for Stoke at Luton on 9. Collins, 91st minute penalty. My God. Enzo will do Forest prediction in a minute. I think I already did it, didn't I? I think Forest will keep a clean sheet, so I assume Forest will win tomorrow. Yeah, so Luton, I mean, in these 6-pointers, you just don't want to lose and take the heat. If you're not going to win them, then a draw is okay, isn't it? But Luton that far back now, 5 points off, that would have been a big swing, wouldn't it? That would have put Luton 37 and Stoke 38. Still cannot believe that Stoke are in a relegation battle with 10 games to go. That's crazy kind of failure with year 2 parachute money and all the wages they're spending, but it is what it is. Luton are still fighting, but time is running out for Barnsley and Luton, despite both scoring 10 points in the last 6 games. The issues for them are that Stoke have got 8, Charlton have got 6, Wigan have got 11, and Huddersfield also have got 10. So just a huge raise up there. So I think we've covered everybody. Did we cover Barnsley? I missed them out as well. I did, sorry. Reading 2, Barnsley 0. Yeah, damp squib that one for Barnsley. They had a magnificent 3-game run, and you looked at that one and thought, oh, Wigan went to Reading and won during the week. So, yeah, Barnsley go under 2-0 at Reading. Maite and Puskas. Lovely finish from Puskas, actually. Puskas is one of those weird players who can be quite terrible for long periods of games, but if you actually put together his highlight reel of his best bit, he looked really, really, really good. So, yeah, shame for Barnsley there, but it's been such a hot pace down the bottom there that, yeah, just that defeat. Big picture, Barnsley and Luton are scoring at a decent rate. The big issue, and I'll repeat it, is everybody else is as well. So we'll see what that total is going to be. You just wonder if someone gets adrift, whether it'll knock their confidence, and maybe we'll only get one place up to play for. And I mean, to be honest, it looks that way, doesn't it, with a 5-point gap? But let's see what Luton and Barnsley can do. Certainly with Luton, you would have thought that could have been a key win if they could have beaten Stoke, but they'll be pleased not to go under. Right, thank you everybody for watching. We'll do some questions. It's been a crazy busy week, so might be a little bit quieter next week. I think we had a stream and some content every single night. So if you've got any questions, chuck them in now, any topics, and we will do that. If not, I will go off and I will make dinner and get ready for the week ahead. Like I said, I'll be at Ipswich Fleetwood on the channel. I know that's not championship, but no championship midweek, and I do get stick from Ipswich fans for not being there quite as often as I should, but hey, we're trying to keep up the pace on this here championship channel. Not many questions coming. Luke says, what's for dinner? We have gusto, so whichever box we pull out. Top 3 biggest clubs in the championship: Leeds, Forest, and Sheffield Wednesday. Who's winning League One then? Rotherham. Andrew says, am I going to Fulham, Brentford? Yes, I will be there, Andrew. DM me before we do something on my match vlog. That would be great. Keep questions coming, like these quick fire ones. They're good. If Borough go down, will players stay? Who have they got of that much value? Best stadium, I do like Derby, and it's worth 80 million. Who do I think will win the title? Oh, difficult one. Don't know. Either Leeds or West Brom. One of those two is definitely going to win the title, aren't they? Hard to say. Probably West Brom will squeak through. You think that Wednesday are bigger than Derby? Well, yeah, Ewan, on the basis that I just said they were. Yes, I do. On the 2 seconds of thought that I gave that. Yes, I do understand Derby won the league in the 70s, obviously. Andrew says, I'm a lucky mascot for Fulham. There we go. Is Derby Stadium there's good? Eze or Ajaria, both very good, Alfias. Eze, yeah, I think Eze's he'll be done in the summer, won't he? For lots and lots of money. What will happen if Cov go up with St Andrews? I don't know. A massive cluster, and Birmingham will probably double their rent, you would imagine. So, yeah, there we go. 8,000 average above everyone except Leeds, says Knee Down. Which club is this? I'm trying to think, is that Derby we're talking about? John says, yeah, we charge more rent. Yeah, absolutely. I think they got the good end of the deal already anyway. But Cov do look like they're going up. They beat Sunderland today, didn't they? Who would cope best in the Prem? I think Leeds will be fine because of the circus around them. Do you know what? Forest would probably be all right because they know how to defend. West Brom, you just think they're getting by on star power a little bit, don't you? So Fulham under Parker would struggle. Brentford would be massively open and take the money. Mr. Core, West Brom crumbling. They'll be fine. And I'll see you tomorrow, Mr. Core. Pereira or Ben Rama? Oh, that's a tricky one. Well, they're both brilliant. Ben Rama, but that's not to say that Pereira's bad. By the way, with these questions and things where it's one or the other, like who's the biggest club, that's not me saying that Derby are not a big club if I don't put them in the top three. It's not binary, by the way. So there we go. I know we football fans struggle with that from time to time, don't we? Right, thank you everybody for joining in the stream. Pineapple on no pineapple on pizza. No pineapple on pizza because you bite in and the water gets really hot and burns your mouth, doesn't it? There we go. What player will you miss the most out of the teams potentially going up? Ben Rama. Super Leeds has given me a sad face, has he? There we go. Right, off we go. I'm sure some story will come up that will be here in the video, but I'll try because a few people have complained about me not announcing the streams. I'll try and tweet out before, but as usual, thank you. Thank you. Calvin Phillips, there you go, Ken. Ipswich to sign Evandro. Ipswich to sign anybody. My God, Jesus. Right, thank you everybody for watching, and I will see you all in the week. Over.